So hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about the reactjs form handling, and we will start from a very basic application like this. This input field, if you type anything, this same text will appear in the top of this input field. And this is a very basic reactjs application in the forms. And after doing this type of simple application, you will get a basic understanding of how the forms works in the reactjs. And after doing this application, we will see the more complex form, and we also see the different types of inputs like radio, checkboxes and select. So watch the full video, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please access my playlist. So let's start. So I am in the VS Code of my system and also start the development server with npm start. And here is a basic setup of our basic application, where I will type this input field and every text that will appear will be changed just like we have in the input field. Okay, so for doing that we have some basic setup. We have one h1 tag for showing the text we will type here, and there is a normal input field that we will see, and the name is text. So first thing that I wanted to do is I need some variable where I store the input fields value. And we all know that if you wanted to store any types of value in the reactjs, you just need the react state. So I'm just using the use state hook in the reactjs. So just naming the variable as text and initialize with a empty string. Okay, I just also need to import it from react, so also imported it here. Okay, so our variable is here, and what we need to do now, we need to listen some events in the input field, and we have one event called the on change. So if you don't know anything about events in the reactjs, then just watch my previous event handling video in the reactjs. There I explain each and everything about the event handling in reactjs. So let's focus on this. So on change will fire every time we'll type anything in the input field. Okay, so this is the on change event, and on change event is actually takes one function name. So I am just typing one function name as on change handler. Obviously we need to define it. So here is the function, and first thing that I will do, I just wanted to console log some text to show that how this things work. So if I write in the console as the reactjs and save this thing, just see now. So each and every text or character that I will input in the input field, there will be triggered one event, and this event on change will be triggered, and this on change will actually call this function which will eventually console log reactjs. Okay, so let's see it. So if I type a, you can see here's our console log reactjs, and if you also type a, you can see the number of reactjs console logging is increasing. And this is why we have we have taken on change, because we need to type, or we need to get each and every times value that we get in the input field. Okay, so on change and this function is executing properly. So we actually need to do is need to get the input fields value. So how we can get this type of value or the input fields value? So for that we have one event object. Okay, so this event object will automatically passed by the reactjs automatically. We just don't need to do anything. Whenever the onChange function will execute, in this function reactjs automatically put this event object. Okay, so if I just console log this event object, let's see what will we get. So if I type once again a, you can see this is an event object, and this is a long object, you can study about it, but I am interested in the target. So event and then target, and here we have one field called value, and you can see we have a. So if we clear the console log and type abcd, you can see for each and every keystroke that I do, there a separate event is called. And in the last event that I'm just seeing in the target, you can see the value is abcd. And there one even interesting thing is also there is present, is called the name. Okay, just searching for name, and you can see this is the name and it is called the text, and the same name has we passed here as the text. So if I changes to name, sorry, text 45, and then clear it and type anything, and then you can see in the target dot name. So where is the name? So you can see the name is changed to text 45. Okay, so each and every or anything that we passes here or in the name, that will be came here eventually for the name. Okay, so this is how we can get the name. So also now I just don't need the full event object. We just need to write the event.target.value, and plus also write event.target.name for better understanding of this two thing. So event.target.name and event.target.value. So I save this thing and type something. You can see now we don't see the full event object, just we see the event.target.name, event.target.value, and this is the whole thing. And now we get the target value. So I just need to do one thing. I just need to put this value into the text variable or the text state that we have, and for that we have the set text method. So I'm just using it, that set text as oops set text as event dot target dot value. If I save this thing, we will not see anything because we do not use this text in the actual JSX. So here I am just wrapping the text because this thing and this variable or state name is same. So if I save now, you can see now it is working properly. So any text I will type like ABCD, that will came here, like the same text will came here, and you can see this event is also generating lots of console log. Okay, so this is the basic form structure of the reactjs, and this is how we handle the form. So now we will see some complex type of forms and also see some more input fields like radio, checkboxes and select. So this is the basic structure of our complex reactjs form, and you can see there's lots of type of input field like text, like select boxes, and also the radio button and the check boxes. So we will see all of the types of forms here, and this is the basic HTML or the whatever you can say that JSX code for our form. So firstly we need to do to declare one state for storing our all of the forms details. So I'm just creating one new state, and I am just typing as from data for storing, and this would be our object. I'm just using form data for storing all of the user data that we have, like username, email, occupation, gender, and the languages. But if you wanted to store all of these input fields values separately, then you can always do the multiple use state or multiple state in the React.js application. That is your call, but I'm just storing it in the one object for better understanding. So I'm initializing the values. So the first thing we have is the username. So I'll write username, and I'm just initializing it with the empty string, same as for the email as the empty string. And I think I need lots of empty strings here. So email, occupation and gender, but in the languages. So let's type languages. Okay, so as the languages can have multiple values like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, as it is a checkboxes, so it is will be not an empty string, it will be an array. So I'm just providing as the empty array, so you can type anything here for initialization, but I'm just taking as the input or the empty array. Okay, so by now our initialization is done. So what we need to do, you can see here is the label, and I just also put some CSS classes here for better styling. You can see the all of these code in the source code in the description of this video, so please download this for showing or seeing all of the styling that I put here. Okay, so let's back to with our topic. So just like in the previous application, we just need to declare one event handling. Okay, so on change handler, and this will also be a arrow function. I just need to provide one constant. Okay, and also just we see that we need to define the event for showing that what is going on, and console login that all of the events. So event. Okay, so this is our basic setup, and I just need to define the on change event in each and every input field. So on change handler. Okay, so on change handler, and I just need to copy it and paste it in the every input field. So here also I need paste it here, and in the occupation, as it is a select, I just need to provide it in the top here. So on change handler here, it is a gender, so it is actually a radio button, so I need to put in the all of them. So just put it here in the female also and in the other also, and also in the languages, that is a checkbox I need to define in all of the input fields like HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so by this our basic on-chain channeler setup is completed, and we have also a button here, but I am just providing a type button, and we will see the more of the button uses in the later. But see that we have also do the on-change method in the all of these cases. So if I type anything now, you can see the event is firing for the email, also for the occupation also the event is firing, and just check for the radio button also that it is working or not. Is it working? And also it is also working. So our basic on-chain setup is done. So let's quickly start to store it in the object or the state. So for storing the state, we have one method called set from data, and here I need to store change the each and every values that I will get from the event. So if I write this type of things, that event.target.name, event.target.name, and I just also need to wrap up in the square brackets because it is the key of our object. And then if I write the event.target.name, so let's copy this thing, put here event.target.value. Okay, so if I do this type of things, the whole object will be changed. So the object will be previously like this, but if I do this type of thing, the whole object will be changed, and this will be looking like the on one of the particular, like if I change now the username, this whole object will be changed with one single key value pair with the username. So this is not how we will do this type of thing. We will do the similar type of thing but with the help of the arrow function, and this arrow function will actually return our whole new form data. So I am just replicating it with the spread operator. So by the spread operator, we actually copying this whole object here by triple dot in front of the object name in this object. Okay, and then I just need to change my required event dot target dot name, and this will be the key. So that is why I'm just putting in the square brackets, and I just need to write event dot target dot value. Okay, so this will be the whole setup that required for changing our state. So if we change anything, we don't see the changes of the state. But if I have one thing, that if I set up one on click event here, so if I write on click here, and for this object, if I only console log here, so console log form data, you can now can see this type of things. If I click on it, what is going on? Oops, I don't mention the function. So I am just declaring an anonymous function is here, and it will console logging the form data. Okay, so save this thing and go here to click it, and you can see the whole form data I am getting from here, and the username is similar to this. Okay, so if I change anything here and save, also the click on this button, then you can see the whole thing is changed. Also if I just type abc here and go away and click on it, you can see this thing is changes to abc. So our user field is working properly, so this will be a good news. And similarly, if I do the email, so if I change everything and write abc@gmail.com, and this will update the state eventually, and if I click on it, you can see the form data object, and you can see the email is updated properly. So username and email is updating properly. So see how we can get the gender. So I just need to do one thing, that I am just also need to console logging the event for understanding properly. Okay, so I'm just, if now I just refresh this page and click on the mail, you can see the event is triggered, and in this email or in this event triggered, the same type of things is here, like the target is here, and also if I scroll down a little bit, I can see in the value, where is the value, where it is gone. So you can see name is also here, the gender, and also if I see here, where is the value, you can see the value is male. So this thing is working similar to the input type of text. Okay, so this thing working properly, and see this occupation. So now if I change it to the employee, a event is triggered, and this event is also similar with a value here somewhere. Just searching value, you can see the value is employee. And if I see our object here by clicking on this button, you can see the employee value changes successfully as employee, and username and email is 0, or empty string that already have. So this 4 thing is working properly. So let's go for the checkboxes. So if you see it properly, if I click on it, event is triggered, and if I see the object, my object has the language as the HTML. But if I click on the CSS also, then see the object, my language's value is changed to CSS. But this is not the actual case. I just need one array where we get this type of HTML CSS in the array. But this is not actually I'm getting from here. So how we can do this type of thing? So for that I need to have one if check. Okay, so firstly I need to one if check. So if event dot target dot name equals to languages, because this case is only available for the languages, so I'm just doing this. And one if check, if it will be the languages, then do something, or otherwise do the previous thing that we already seen. Okay, so this thing is working fine, and in here I just need to save this thing. But before saving this, okay, just save this thing to see what will happen. Okay, so refresh this page, and if I click on it, event is triggered, and in this event we have the target, and we also have one value. So value is HTML, but there is also a name tag here. Name is also languages, but in here we have something like checked. So this is the check, and checked is now true. If I click on the CSS, then in the next event the check will be true. So target, in here you can see the check will be true, and also the value here, if you scroll down a bit, the value will be CSS. But if we just uncheck it, there will also be a triggered event, but in here the value will be same as the CSS, but in this time the check will be not be the true. In this time the check will be false. So you need to do one check that whether it is the doing it false or true. So first thing that I need to do, so if event dot target dot checked, if the value is checked, then we need to push this value inside this languages array. So but previously I just need to copy this whole array, copy this whole object for not doing it as a complex way. So let's copy it. So let copy as dot spread operator, and then from data. Okay, so our whole from data is here. I am just checking whether it is the checked or not, and if it is the checked, then I just need to push it. So copy dot languages dot push, and what I need to push, I need to push the event dot target dot value. Okay, so event dot target dot value is pushed. Okay, so now, and after that what we need to do, we need to also update the state also. So for updating the state, I'm just not doing the else part. We will do the else part later, but I'm just setting up this thing. Let's set from data as the copy. Okay, so now if I check this thing, and you see one thing that refresh this page also, I'm just clicking the HTML, and from this button I can get the state of the from data. Now you can see the language is now an array with a HTML, and if I click the CSS, there will also trigger one event, and as it is a check true event, then it will be array will be containing two elements, one is the HTML and one is the CSS. Okay, so this thing is working properly. So now I just need to do the uncheck thing. So now the uncheck thing is empty, so I just need to do the filtering. So copy dot languages dot filter, and each of the thing will be get one arrow function. The element will be the all of the element, and I just need to check whether this element is not equals to the event dot target dot value, because I don't want this event dot target dot values element. I just need all of the element that is not equals to event dot target dot value. So this is the logic, and I need to store it here. So copy dot languages, I just need to store here. So this is our whole code for removing it all of this thing from the array. So if I save this thing now, clearing the console, reloading this page, clicking on HTML and CSS, seeing this thing, language is working fine with two arrays, added two elements. And now I'm just removing the CSS. Our event is triggered, which has one checked value as false, and just see whatever the our form data object is now. You can see the form data object is now has only one array element, which is the HTML, and it is exactly what we have checked. So if I checked all of these three things, and now see, you can see the array element has three things: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And if I uncheck HTML, CSS, only the JavaScript stay here. So now you can see there is only one element, which is the JavaScript. So this is how you can handle the checkboxes. So for a recap, we see how we can do the so simple text field by using this event.target.name and event.target.value. We have seen this thing. We have also seen how we can select the checkboxes. So for the checkboxes, the same type of things is applied. For the gender also, the same type of things is applied. But for the checkboxes, there is a simple different types of way, because it is required one array. So I just need to define this logic for doing the checkboxes. So everything is fine, I think. So this is how you will handle the reactjs from. And I just wanted to show one thing, that suppose if you want one default value whenever the form is loaded, so default and default @gmail.com. Also you need occupation as student, some gender like male, and languages, let's say we need HTML. Okay, so if you want this type of predefined values for your input field, so if I just save this thing and reload this page, we will not see the same type of things in the form, because we don't use this value on these input fields. So how we can do, or how we can set up these values directly from here? So for that we have also one attribute that you can say, which is the value. So in the value, I just need to provide the from data dot username, as it is the username. Okay, so in the username I just retain the value from data dot username, saving this thing and refreshing the page. And now you can see whenever we refresh this page, the username is changed with the default. So refresh this page, it is the initial value, you can say. So similarly, if we just type the same thing as the value for all of these things, so from data dot, I'm just copying this thing for using it all over the code. So this thing will be email. For the occupation, I just need to define as the occupation. So this will be from data dot occupation. And for the radio button, I just don't, we have also a value already defined here. So what we need to do, we need to do this checked. So checked is a type, and this actually takes the true or false. Okay, so for that I just need to from dot data, from data dot gender equals to what we have is male. So if this thing is checked, then only this value will be set as checked by default, otherwise no. So this will be female and this will be other. Let's see how this thing is working or not. Okay, you can see this thing is working, this also, these things are all working fine. I'm just doing to male to female, just see, you can see this thing is working fine. So let's quickly do. Okay, so for this thing I also have one type of things that checked, and this checked is actually required one function. Why it is required some function? Because I need to go through this from data array, from data language array. So from data dot languages dot find also the index of, let's suppose index of, so index of what? Index of HTML. So HTML not equals to -1, because if this thing do not find this HTML in the array, then it will be return the -1. So I'm just checking the whether it is containing this -1 or not. Okay, so similarly this thing I will put in all of these cases. So paste, and this will be CSS and this will be JavaScript. So Java script. Save this thing. I just need to reload this page. What is going on? Checked. By the way, just remove the arrow function, so this will be directly executed here. So there will be no errors here. So if I refresh this page, you can see the all of the default value is working fine. So this is how you can set up the default value in your code. So I think this is all. So I just wanted to show one thing, that this button is only doing the form check, that this form validation check. But what if the type will be submit? So we just need this type submit for submitting some form. We have known that for any types of form submission, we just need one button called type submission. So but React is a single page application. If I click on it, the page is reloaded. But this is not the ideal case. This is the single page application, don't need to refresh. So how we can do this type of things? So in the top of this we have form, and in the form we have one submit method or event listener, whatever you can say, on submit event. So this can also take one functions or method. So just typing on submit handler. Okay, so on submit handler it is a method, so I just need to define it. So let's define it here. So constant this thing and the function. Okay, so console logging this thing, console dot log submitted, and also just need the event. Okay, so this thing is fine, but still if I click on this button, the page is reloading. So how we can prevent this default behavior of the submitting a form? And the answer is simple: prevent the default behavior. So prevent default. So that's it, even though prevent default. And if I now click on it, you can see the page is not reloading, because we preventing the default behavior of the form submission. That this is how you can do. And now you can also console logging the form data, that whatever we have now. So if I click on it, you can see this is the form data, and I just can do one thing, that putting in a table. So console.table will provide us a beautiful view in the tabular manner, whatever you can say. So username is default, occupation student, gender. Obviously we just can't see this languages array. So let's back with the log, and if I say default name, change something, that number here, just click on the other CSS submit. You can see after the submit we can see the submission from here. So this is how you can handle your reactjs forms, and I hope this video is helping you to understand the default behavior of the HTML form and different types of form handling in the reactjs. So if you like this video and this video at least help you, then please like this video and comment anything, like anything that you like, the whichever thing you like in this video the most. And also please type your name that you have watched this video. Just type your name in the comment section, so this will eventually help me to reach more peoples for, and this will be eventually helps me to grow my YouTube channel. So like this video and subscribe my channel. So see you in the next video. Bye.